Yeah.
It's still Aegis Flames that came out on top, and I'm just so glad that we got to watch this from the B stream. It's amazing that we get this coverage as well this time at Worlds.
Yeah, it's really impressive stuff. I think punishing Onyx Rise, just really trying to be patient in that situation. They waited for Eeyore to get that really long flank. They finally get it. They get two of them, but I mean, Sarah Legend Buzzwole don't always need their Eldegoss to make magic happen, right? They can still get some of these huge pushes, so impressive stuff coming up from that team. I liked it a lot, but we are going to be talking about this next matchup we're going to have on the main stage very soon. We're going to be jumping into it as Cakekalok and Talon. This battle between APAC West and APAC East is still squared up for our main stage match.
Yes, it is, and we saw the draft and how it was going to look like. So we have a couple of things that we discussed on early game, prios, and just the advantages and what was going to be the strengths of each of these compositions. But it's important that we get, once we get into the game, we'll actually get a grasp of how this is going to go, because we mentioned this was a matchup that did happen at Worlds Honolulu last year.
And it did go in the favor of Talon, and throughout this entire season, it has been Talon kind of setting the pace slightly above this Cakekalok roster. They have performed better in the Asia Champions League regular season as well as the playoff season, and then, of course, coming into this tournament, they're looking great, but they have yet to face off against one another. Cakekalok, the only one to actually play a game in this group so far, and they did get that 2-0 win. So we are looking at maybe a little bit of momentum in Cakekalok's favor, some wind in their sails. Maybe that's enough to finally change this narrative between them and Talon matching up.
That would be incredible. And another thing that we did mention is how this match is incredibly important for this group in particular, how they haven't played that many matches, and it could be crucial into how we get into the end of day one and where these teams are going to be placed, whether advancing into day two, and what is going to be the first and second seed, because it does make quite of a difference when it goes into the single elim day two bracket.
Yeah, you really want to have a top seed coming out of your group. For seeding, of course, but also just for a little bit of confidence headed into day two. We talk a lot about just how cutthroat the World Championships is frequently, right? We have changed the format a few times. We now have two teams making it out of every group into that day two single elimination bracket. But make no mistake, you're leaving day one happy you made it out, but you're also getting thrown into a 16-team single elimination bracket with the literal definition of best teams in the world. I mean, there is no escape until you're holding the trophy on Championship Sunday.
Oh, yeah. You just gotta hold your breath up until then. And by holding your breath,
I would recommend breathing, but if you're a fan, do not breathe.
A metaphor. So, yeah, the metaphor, just hold your breath for the focus, steady hands.
Okay.
That's kind of what I mean. Everybody, please breathe. Take good deep breaths. They're good. They're very nice.
Breathing is the anvil. Winning is the hammer. And that is how we're going to play this next match.
All right. Yeah, that's just how it goes. I'm super stoked about this match in particular. Like we said, just a lot of nice history and interesting just storylines in this Worlds, in last Worlds, and how it has been evolving for this group in particular. But I still want to see, I want to see this game.
I know.
Give me this game.
It's going to be such a fun one. I have word that the teams are loading into the game, so it'll be happening very shortly. We're going to be jumping into it. But yeah, it has been such a fun tournament so far. I'm glad we're finally getting to see a few more of these APAC squads. We have gotten to see some fun ones. I got the opportunity to cast Paper X earlier on today. They did take a loss against Nouns Esports, who is looking very, very good in this tournament. Kind of pushing Paper X into a very uncomfortable position earlier on in this tournament. And then, of course, we have, I think, a fair amount of people's favorites. I know Wonder Chef is locked in that pick in High Five. We haven't seen them since the start of the day, the dawn of day one of Unite Worlds 2025. And I think they made a claim that, yeah, we are hunting for a World Championship title.
Oh, yeah, because the amount of confidence, like you said, when you get a win is something. But winning the debut opening match of Worlds 2025 is a booster and a half. Now getting into our game, Cakekalok on the purple side versus Talon on the orange. These are the two APAC East and West teams that we have been talking about. And Zoinks, this is just it's just started.
Very interesting choice from Talon to actually put the Metagross player Sync1 into the central area to begin this one, strictly because they're playing Focus Band Rocky Helmet. With those defensive items, I thought almost assuredly we would be playing into the pathful portion of this game, but instead we're going to be shifting it up. Now, reminder, Cakekalok got some powerful Pokemon throughout this tournament. We talked about the Mewtwo Y, the Zoroark, but Charizard, also a tournament-defining squad, is a Pokemon that I think is going to be a huge threat. They're going to have it in the top side of the map. Zoroark going to take the first rotation. Would not be surprised if they switch that around.
It's very possible. 850 on the board in a 4-person rotation here for Cakekalok, as they're going to go for the Swabblers. No concession whatsoever, even respect, I would say, from Talon to recognize that they don't want to lose as much HP. Go into your own goal and just guarantee the extra healing and shielding. They are keeping themselves strong, but there's the Zeraora, or the Zoroark.
Yeah. Hey, we've seen Zeraora in this tournament, okay? We got it out.
That Suicune was almost so close to getting taken down, and it's another one, unfortunately, that's not gonna be a Metang that survives for longer.
Yeah, I mean, these knockouts can be kind of inconsequential in the early game because you're just trying to get up to those levels, but what's not is all that scoring pressure they were able to put on from Cakekalok. Charizard almost here. We're at level 6 on Charmeleon. They will evolve at level 7, but the attack weight has been stacked. A Pokemon that just does tremendous amount of damage, not only with their moves, but also with those auto attacks. Every kind of breath from Charizard is 4 auto attacks at once. So it is pretty scary to deal with, and that scaling is going to matter a lot.
Ooh, and it looks like there's a lot of action that comes from Cakekalok in this early game. It's going to get punished, though. It's a 2 KO streak there for the Suicune, as we're still looking at a chase, forcing out an eject button over the wall. Flamethrower doesn't connect, no slow. It's not going to be Zacian's time.
Yeah, Charizard not having a red buff in that situation means the chase likely not going to be able to pull it off. But it will be Talon with a 3-player push on the bottom side. Pretty early. 8 minutes has come and gone. That middle experience not available anymore. Instead, we are looking at the 720 Swablu Altarias and potentially even a Reggie fight, and it looks like we might be looking at a Regieleki focus, specifically for Cakekalok, who have already broken that Tier 1. Threatening a Tier 2 Regieleki in the early game could be devastating and great momentum for Cakekalok.
At 7 minutes, nonetheless, it's just really, really, really good. But Cakekalok responding with 1 KO, getting another, almost close to KOing them, but they weren't able to respond. Talon going in, Computing Crush, not able to actually connect with that Colosseum, and they are just going to escape on the side of Cakekalok. A 1v1 where the Zacian is losing. Oh, look at that. They escaped, but it is going to be a confirmed objective, or is it? Larry Rapidash is coming. Do we have enough time? Happy Slam? No. Confirmed by Cakekalok, both objectives.
Yeah, I mean, that just feels like the illustration of how this match has been going so far. Cakekalok dominating the early game. Finally, Talon find a way to get a KO on the Mewtwo Y, but it's given credit over to the Piloswine, who is holding that experience share, and is immediately going to be shut down. So now, Cakekalok having a chance to score even more into this Tier 1, because there's no one left to defend, because they're trying to shut down the Regieleki going towards Tier 2 on the top side. This is an absolute showcase of Cakekalok talent.
Oh yes, a macro absolute masterclass. Like you said, going for their top side. If they could have, yes, they did, and they got both objectives. Oh my, wow, okay. What was that range, really?
Yeah, I mean, Zoroark, with that final hit of Feint Attack will follow you to essentially the ends of the earth. So Markguard making good on their promise to make Zoroark look amazing, even without a pocket, already at level 11. Absolutely crushing it in the level race specifically. Lance gonna get shut down. Sync1 gonna get stunned up by quite a few enemy Pokemon, but the rally back is enough to defend their goal zone.
And the Teaser just doing great at zoning them out as well. Computing Crush only on one member, no, actually even more. Oh, but Mark is gonna go away and just over that zone and escaping. Now Eldegoss could be in danger, but a nice poke there coming out by Sunsage. We was able to just dissuade and just fizzle out that chase.
All right, well, if Cakekalok are looking to change this narrative between this rivalry, between these two squads, I think they're making good so far. What a early presence from this team. Talon finding a way to kind of slow the tide of Cakekalok, but I don't know if it's going to be enough yet. The levels start to look really fantastic on the side of Cakekalok. We got a couple of level 11s, but yeah, there we are. We're already ticking into that level 12 territory. 13's the scary number, though. That's when you get the plus moves on both of your options. and Zorak starts becoming an even more terrifying speedster.
Okay, so Talon looking to be scared about that Reggie Aleki on the top side, potentially going to tier 2 zone. So they're all focusing on top side, and single-handedly, that Snorlax is just doing everybody's work, going with this heavy slam, coming through as well. But the Galarian Rapidash will get knocked down on the side of Talon. They're pushing through, but there's Talon focusing on the Reggie Aleki instead, just waiting for them to come back into the fight. Lancey is there now, and it could be something good for them. But look at that Zoroark and just the amount of damage it can dish out. It's just absolutely crazy. The chase too. Look at them go. A little bit of move speed will get Zacian out of trouble. But Cakekalok, even though they didn't get the objective, every single fight, they're just shredding through Talon.
Yeah, Mark got with some really cool technical superiority in that last one too. I think that was an eject button mid-Unite move.
Ooh,
Charizard will escape the endless Ice Spikes with a fantastic Unite move response. It'll be a little more lackluster than we've seen some, a little less flashy, but that's okay. It was still a very impressive defensive Unite move. And at this point in the game, when you are leading levels by quite a bit, almost at that level 13 for the Charizard, you do not want to be giving up that experience to Talon, a very worthy expenditure of that Charizard Unite move.
It makes so much sense, like you said, being behind like Talon is right now. And it's not like by a huge margin. It's just by enough of a margin to make that Zoroark and the Charizard just that much stronger. It was a good pick here on the Snorlax, but still, it's a defender. 5 seconds for them to respawn. They're going to focus on the top side, so I think it is a good rotation. They're going to get some points in because they were very far behind. Not going to be that much of an overjump. Well, on the bot side, though, Cakekalok is just saying, we got a response ready for you.
And that's a really scary thing. As soon as your tier 2 goes away, obviously the home goal zone does get open up. I think general consensus, you're a little more afraid of that when it is a Reggie Aleki threatening path. However, that is a lot of vision that Talon is going to be lacking in these endgame team fights. Not to mention, if a team fight goes south, they won't have a great chance or a great goal zone to return to get some quick healing. They will be forced to totally recall because they do not have any healing supports available on their team. Cakekalok gonna have a lot of advantages in this final fight, and they're gonna add one more with their Registeel buff.
Yeah, it's going to make a huge... Well, they already have a lot of damage. They're going to have even more infinite sideburn coming through, stunning them down. Now Talon is trying to escape, landing that Galarian Rapidash Unite move just to try and make some space for them to go away from this huge menace that is Cakekalok. And they are on 350 points versus 177, and they are just going to rip this Rayquaza. Now blocking out onto the Metagross. It is a ace, unofficial ace, because Mamoswine had already spawned. Here we go, Ice Fang. No, you can't have it. Cakekalok will take the objective, and they are most likely going to secure this first win of the series.
Oh, a really admirable attempt from our earthquaking Mamoswine. I mean, honestly, crazy vertical to clear that wall. Very impressive stuff to jump over that and try to take the secure. Unfortunately for Talon, I think even at that point, if they stole the Rayquaza, it would have been only 3 of their team members with shields, and assuredly the Mamoswine one would have been getting broken. So at this point, I think Cakekalok didn't even need the Rayquaza, but they certainly took it, and now all they have to do is hold on to their lead for 1 minute longer. 566 to 177. I think Cakekalok feeling pretty good about their board position right now.
They definitely are. We're only around 84 points together for the side of Talon. That is very far away from how much they need. Straight out onto pad, jumping in, getting a nice position, but the Ice Fang will get them out. But look at that Talon app. I think it was a 4-person knockup, and it just feels awesome for Cakekalok. This defense will be flawless, and they are just this close to guaranteeing that first win of the series, and looking really good at that Zoinks.
And not to mention, like we talked about, this could be a very important match in terms of seeding. The fact that they did 2-0 their first opponent in this group is giving them a lot of reasons to be smiling after this match win. Of course, they have to win 2 games in a row to secure the match, so Talon is going to have a chance to come back in this one, but it's Cakekalok with all the momentum.
They're feeling really good. I know they are, because like you said, it's a group that hasn't been playing that much at all today.
Yep.
And this means quite a bit. The second, well, They haven't won the series, but they have 2-0'd the other game that they had.
Komai
so
Esport, yeah.
it feels really nice for them in this start and super important for the future of this group.
Yeah, it's also the third element of this group is Komai Esport out of EU. And so when they're watching this matchup, a world in which they can qualify is, of course, defeating Talon if this one goes to Cakekalok. But I think at this moment, they might be the biggest Talon esports fans here in the venue. Because if they could push Cakekalok and then get the win against Talon, Komai has a real chance of getting out of this group. But at the time being, I think when you're at this level of the World Championships, all you can think about is that next matchup that you got to be focusing on.
Yeah, like seeing too far ahead sometimes can be difficult to deal with. So
Yes.
just focus on what
That's
was.
our job, you know?
I mean, you know what? Yeah, that's kind of
Our
like the
job to
definition of
attempt it.
predictions. Yes.
Yeah.
we look at the crystal ball. Sometimes it's
Yep.
blurry, sometimes it's crystal clear, and we do our best, and we try to communicate these things to you guys so it all makes sense. And I hope you guys are having a great time in the 2025 Pokemon World Championships, because now Cakekalok is one-up in this series, and we're just that close from seeing APAC West potentially winning against APAC East, when last year they were the ones to actually take the shorter side of the stick against Talon at Honolulu.
Yeah, and not only at the last World Championships, again, just having a tough performance in 2025 across multiple grassroots